Hey friends, as a long-time sufferer from perfectionism, I can safely say that it's more of a disease rather than a strength. You may also be stuck in the cycle of perfectionism and have found that this is stunting your growth because of the tendency to do things perfectly, meaning you miss deadlines, suffer from analysis paralysis, and are less productive than your peers, meaning you then miss out on key opportunities. This all makes you want to do things more perfectly and the cycle continues. Well, in this video, I'm going to let you know about the 80-20 rule so that your tasks take less time to complete, although still at a high standard, allowing you to be more productive, decisive, and achieve your goals quicker. When I was younger and had less decisions to make, my perfectionism served a purpose and made me good at whatever I put my mind to. People would always comment on how particular I was or how I'd complete everything to a high standard. Now this may sound great, and from an external perspective looking in, it probably looked great too. But as I've got older, this perfectionism has started to go beyond serving its purpose and has become an energy vacuum and a productivity killer. The more you deliberate about something, the more time and energy that you give to it, the less time and energy you have for your other tasks or other things that you might want to do. Perfectionism can also have a knock-on effect to your other non-important tasks, as your brain becomes conditioned to doing everything to a perfect standard. I've definitely seen this in my own life. I've always strived to do things perfectly, and I think a lot of this comes from how I was raised. My granddad, or my nana as I used to call him, always used to say to me, if you're going to do something, do it to your absolute best ability. And advice like this has shaped the way that I approach my tasks. This is great advice when doing things that have an output or significant influence on your life, but it can be really time and energy inefficient when you use this approach with everything. My own examples of this include making my bed so that the duvet is exactly the same level on both sides and the pillows are perfectly erect. The items on my desk are in perfect order and are all in parallel lines, and things like rechecking forms and to-do lists multiple times to ensure everything is completed perfectly. Doing all of this stuff soaks up a lot of time and energy from my day and means that I'm less productive because of it. And this is when perfectionism stops serving a purpose and can actually become really unhelpful. We also have to realize that the longer we spend working on something or delay delivering the piece of work because we feel it isn't ready or perfect, the less likely it is that we'll move forward with that piece of work. This is called analysis paralysis, where the constant analyzing of something in the pursuit of perfection actually paralyzes our growth and our ability to move forward with it. The world will never be ready for that book to be written, there will never be a perfect time for you to start working out, and your finances will never be stable enough to reduce your hours at work and start that business that you've always wanted to. So something that I've learned is that instead of waiting for something to be perfect, get comfortable with being good enough and moving forwards. I first read about this in The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. The 80-20 rule, otherwise known as Pareto's principle, states that roughly 80% of consequences come from 20% of the actions that we take. In other words, 20% of the tasks that we do lead to 80% of the results. And vice versa, with 80% of the tasks that we do only actually lead to 20% of the overall outcome. Pareto's principle is important to understand because it can help you identify which tasks to prioritize to maximize your productivity and efficiency. For example, when shaving a beard, 20% of the time is actually spent on removing 80% of the hair. The other 80% of the time is spent on removing 20% of the hair in order to shape the beard or remove the bits missed. Take another example of a business selling a product to customers. 20% of a business's time is spent answering queries from 80% of its customer base, whereas 20% of their customers have regular problems, call up more, and take up 80% of the business's time. When looking at all the different stages of production for my YouTube videos, from idea generation and script writing to filming, uploading and repurposing, taking 10 hours to edit one video used to take up around 80% of my time, whilst only being around 20% of the overall production process. The reason that editing took up so much of my time compared to the other stages of production was because of my perfectionism. This was amplified when looking at each millisecond of footage to ensure that the timing of sound effects and visuals were perfect. This was just unsustainable, and I couldn't keep up with my commitment of publishing one video a week because of this. My solution was that I hired an editor, and this forced me to drop some of my perfectionism, as there are only so many changes that I can reasonably ask for per video. This has really helped me let go of some of my control and get comfortable with excellent rather than perfect. It's really key to note that I mention excellent here rather than perfect, and excellent because it's still a really, high quality piece of work that's being done. And actually, by releasing some of that control and dropping some of that perfectionism, the end output isn't changed that much, but it saves a lot of time for me. Thankfully, my editor is great, and I'm always pleased with the end outcome that is always delivered on time, which just reinforces that perfectionism is neither productive or necessary. By dropping my perfectionism and outsourcing, I now have more time to spend on the other stages of production or to just simply enjoy life and do the things that I enjoy. I'd really encourage you to look at how much time you're spending on different tasks every week and which of these tasks deliver the most valuable results. And ask yourself the question, is this linear? As in, does the amount of time and energy that you spend on a particular task equal the results produced? If not, could you focus more on the 20% of the tasks that deliver 80% of the results and focus less on the other 80% of things? Remember that striving for excellence rather than perfection is more than enough for most things in life. For other ways to move towards excellence and increasing productivity without burning out, check out my happiness and growth playlist next. This has videos on my top morning hacks for happiness and productivity, lessons learned from my 20s, and why multitasking is the biggest myth that is destroying our focus. Otherwise, thanks for watching, have a lovely day, and I will see you on the next video.